Tonight, my 6-year-old daughter, Lily, fell asleep on my lap. Her curly brown hair spread across my arm, and I noticed how much she looks like her mother. Sarah has been gone 4 years now, but every time I look at Lily, I see her. Tomorrow is my grandfather's 80th birthday, the first time in 3 years I bring Lily to my parents' house. I hoped things would change. I had no idea that in 24 hours they would call my daughter a mistake. Before I continue, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you have ever had to protect someone you love from your own family, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you have ever felt like an outsider in your own home, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what happened next changed everything. I need to take you back to the beginning so you can understand how we got here. I met Sarah during my sophomore year of college. We both worked at a small coffee shop near campus. She was studying nursing, working double shifts to pay her own tuition. Her mother raised her alone. She never knew her father. Sarah came from nothing, but she had more heart than anyone I had ever met. My family did not see it that way. The first time I brought Sarah home to meet my parents, my mother, Margaret, barely looked at her. She asked where Sarah went to high school, what her parents did for a living, where she grew up. When Sarah answered honestly, I watched my mother's face close like a door slamming shut. After Sarah left that night, my mother pulled me aside in the kitchen. She said, "That girl is not right for you. She has no background, no connections. You can do better." I told her I love Sarah. She said, "Love fades, status does not." My father, Harold, was not much better. He ran a successful construction company, and he had plans for me. He wanted me to join the family business, marry someone from the right family, build the right kind of life. Sarah did not fit into those plans. My older brother, Derek, was the worst. He called Sarah names behind her back. He said I was throwing away my future for a waitress with no last name worth remembering. He laughed when I told him I was going to propose, but I proposed anyway. Sarah said yes with tears running down her face. We got married in a small ceremony at the courthouse. My grandfather, William, was the only one from my family who came. He hugged Sarah and told her welcome to the family. My parents did not attend. Derek sent a text that said, "Your funeral." After the wedding, my father cut off all financial support. I had to drop out of my graduate program and find work immediately. Sarah and I moved into a tiny apartment with 1 bedroom and a kitchen so small we could barely turn around. But we were happy. We were building something real. Then Sarah got pregnant. When Lily was born, I held her in my arms and cried. She had Sarah's eyes and my nose. She was perfect. I called my mother to tell her she had a granddaughter. My mother said, "That child will never carry our name properly. She is the product of your poor choices." Then she hung up. For the first 2 years of Lily's life, my family pretended she did not exist. They never sent gifts for her birthday. They never asked to see pictures. They never acknowledged that I had become a father. Then Sarah got sick. It started with fatigue she could not shake, then the bruises that appeared without explanation. The doctors found it during a routine blood test. Leukemia. Aggressive. Sarah fought for 18 months. She fought through chemotherapy, through the hospital stays, through the nights when she could barely lift her head. Lily was 2 years old when Sarah died. My mother did not come to the funeral. Neither did my father or Derek. They sent flowers with a generic card. The only person from my family who showed up was Grandpa William. He sat in the front row and held my hand while I said goodbye to my wife. After the funeral, my mother called. She said, "I am sorry for your loss, but maybe now you can start fresh. Find someone more suitable. Build a proper life." I hung up on her and did not speak to my family for almost 3 years. The only exception was Grandpa William. He called me every few weeks to check in. He sent birthday cards to Lily with $20 bills tucked inside. He asked me to send pictures, and I did. He was the only one who seemed to remember that Lily existed. that I existed. So when he called me 3 weeks ago and asked me to bring Lily to his 80th birthday party, I could not say no. His voice sounded tired. He said, I am getting old, Randall. I do not know how many birthdays I have left. I want to see my great-granddaughter. I want to hold her hand, please. How could I refuse him? I told Lily about the party, and her face lit up. She had heard stories about her great-grandfather, the kind man who sent her cards and called her his little sunshine. She had never met the rest of the family, and she was curious. She asked me, Daddy, will Grandma like me? I lied and said, Of course she will, sweetheart. The morning of the party, Lily woke up early and picked out her best dress. It was pale blue with small white flowers, the dress Sarah had bought for her before she passed. Lily spent an hour making a birthday card for Grandpa William. She drew pictures of sunshine and rainbows and wrote, Happy Birthday, Great-Grandpa, in her careful 6-year-old handwriting. We got in the car and drove 3 hours to my parents' house. Lily asked questions the whole way. What does the house look like? Does Uncle Derek have kids? Will there be cake? I answered as best I could, but my stomach was in knots. When we pulled up to the house, I felt my chest tighten. It was a large property, a sprawling home with manicured lawns and expensive cars parked in the driveway. There must have been 50 people there already. I could see white tents set up in the backyard and catering staff carrying trays of food. Lily grabbed my hand as we walked toward the front door. Her palm was sweaty. She whispered, Daddy, I am a little scared. I squeezed her hand and said, Me too, sweetheart, but we have each other. We walked through the front door, and I saw my mother immediately. She was standing near the living room talking to a group of women in expensive dresses. When she saw me, her expression did not change. She looked at Lily, then looked away. She did not wave. She did not smile. She simply turned her back and continued her conversation. My sister-in-law Caroline noticed us next. She walked over with a glass of champagne in her hand and a smile that did not reach her eyes. She said, Oh, you actually came, and you brought the little one. She looked down at Lily and said, My, she has gotten big. She looks just like her mother. What was her name again, Susan? Sarah, I said. Her name was Sarah. Caroline shrugged. Right, Sarah. Then she walked away. Lily tugged on my sleeve. Daddy, why did that lady not know Mommy's name? I did not have an answer. We found Grandpa William in the backyard. He was sitting in a wheelchair near the garden. A nurse stood beside him, helping him with a glass of water. When he saw us approaching, his entire face transformed. His eyes lit up, and he reached out his arms. Little sunshine, he called out, Come give your great-grandpa a hug. Lily ran to him and threw her arms around his neck. He held her tight, his frail body shaking slightly. When he pulled back, there were tears in his eyes. Let me look at you, he said. You are so beautiful. You look just like your mama. Lily beamed. She handed him the card she had made. I made this for you, great-grandpa. Happy birthday. He opened the card slowly, his arthritic fingers trembling. When he saw the drawings inside, he started to cry. This is the most beautiful gift anyone has ever given me, he said. I am going to keep this forever. For a few minutes, everything felt okay. Grandpa William told Lily stories about when he was young. He asked her about school, about her favorite foods, about her friends. Lily answered every question with enthusiasm, her earlier nervousness forgotten. I stood back and watched them, my heart aching with gratitude and grief all at once. Then Derek appeared. He walked over with a drink in his hand and a smirk on his face. He was 4 years older than me, and he had always resented me. I was the one who got better grades, the one who did not need to work for Dad to feel successful. When I left the family, Derek became the golden child by default, but I could tell he still held a grudge. Little brother, he said, long time no see. Still living in that shoebox apartment. Nice to see you too, Derek. He looked down at Lily, who had moved closer to me. So this is the kid. She is kinda small, is she not? Must take after her mother's side. He laughed at his own joke. I felt my jaw tighten. Lily, why do you not go show great-grandpa your new shoes? I need to talk to Uncle Derek for a minute. Lily hesitated, looking between us. Then she walked back to Grandpa William. I stepped closer to Derek. You need to watch what you say in front of my daughter. Derek rolled his eyes. Relax. I am just making conversation. You always were too sensitive. He took a sip of his drink. You know Mom is not happy you are here. She thinks you are going to cause a scene. I am here for Grandpa. That is it. Sure you are. He walked away, leaving me standing there with my fists clenched. The afternoon continued with more small humiliations. My mother avoided us completely. When it was time for lunch, we were seated at the far end of the long table, away from Grandpa William, away from my parents. Lily was surrounded by strangers who talked over her head and barely acknowledged her presence. At one point, one of my aunts leaned over and said loudly, "So this is the girl, Sarah's daughter." She said Sarah's name like it was something dirty. Another uncle chimed in, "Poor thing. Growing up without a mother, that cannot be easy." Lily heard every word. She looked down at her plate, her appetite gone. Then it happened. Lily reached for her water glass and accidentally knocked it over. The water spilled across the white tablecloth, spreading in a dark stain. She froze, her eyes wide with horror. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry." Before I could say anything, my mother's voice cut through the noise. She spoke loudly enough for half the table to hear. Well, that is what happens when children are not properly raised. No mother to teach them basic manners. The table went silent. Everyone looked at Lily. Her lower lip began to tremble. I stood up immediately and picked her up in my arms. "We need some air," I said to no one in particular. I carried her outside to the back garden, away from all those staring eyes. Lily buried her face in my shoulder and cried, "Daddy, I did not mean to. I am sorry. I ruined everything." "No, baby, you did not ruin anything. It was an accident. Accidents happen." But the lady said I have no manners because I do not have a mommy. I held her tighter, fighting back my own tears. "That lady is wrong. You have the best manners of anyone I know. Your mommy would be so proud of you." We sat in the garden for a while until Lily calmed down. I was about to take her back inside to say goodbye to Grandpa William when my father appeared. He walked toward us with his hands in his pockets, his face unreadable. Harold was 61 years old, a man who had built an empire through stubbornness and cold calculation. He had never been warm, but he had never been cruel either. Until now. "Randall," he said, "we need to talk." "About what?" He glanced at Lily, then back at me. "About your future, about what comes next." I sent Lily to pick flowers nearby while I listened to what my father had to say. What he said next made my blood run cold. "Listen," he said, "I know things have been difficult, losing Sarah, raising the girl alone. But you need to think about your life. You are 32 years old. You could come back to the company. Take your rightful place. We could forget the past few years ever happened. And Lily?" He paused. "There are excellent boarding schools, places where she would get a proper education. You could visit her on holidays. It would give you the freedom to rebuild your life, find a suitable wife, start over." I could not believe what I was hearing. "You want me to send my daughter away to abandon her?" "Not abandon, just create some distance for everyone's benefit." "Whose benefit? Not Lily's, not mine." He sighed like I was being unreasonable. "The girl is a constant reminder of your mistake. Your mother cannot stand to look at her. Derek's children ask questions. It makes things complicated. My daughter is not a complication. She is not a mistake. She is my child." He shook his head. "You always were stubborn, just like your grandfather." He turned and walked away. I stood there shaking with anger. I grabbed Lily's hand and marched toward the front door. I needed to find Grandpa William, say goodbye, and get out of this house forever. But when we reached the front entrance, my mother and Derek were blocking the doorway. My mother stood with her arms crossed. Derek stood beside her with that same smirk he always wore. Carolyn lingered behind them, watching with amusement. "Leaving so soon?" my mother asked. "The party is not over." "We are done here," I said. "Please move." She did not move. Instead, she looked down at Lily with an expression of pure contempt. "You know this is exactly why I did not want you to come, why I never wanted to meet this child." Lily pressed herself against my leg, trembling. "Do not talk about my daughter like she is not standing right here." My mother laughed bitterly. "Your daughter. This girl is the reason you threw away everything. Your education, your career, your family. She is a mistake, Randall. A mistake that should never have been born. If you had not married that woman, none of this would have happened." Derek nodded. "Mom is right. The kid should not even exist. You ruined your life for what?" "For this." Lily looked up at me, confusion and pain written across her face. "Daddy," she whispered, "what is a mistake? Am I a mistake?" Then she started to cry. Not quiet tears, but deep shaking sobs that came from somewhere deep inside her. "I am sorry, Daddy. I am sorry I'm a mistake. I am sorry." Something inside me broke, and something else caught fire. I knelt down and held Lily's face in my hands. "Look at me, sweetheart. Look at Daddy." She looked at me with her mother's eyes, those beautiful blue eyes filled with tears. "You are not a mistake, do you hear me? You are the best thing that ever happened to me. You are my whole world. Do not ever let anyone tell you different." Then I stood up and faced my mother. 32 years, I said. My voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. "For 32 years I tried to make you proud. I went to the schools you chose. I studied what you wanted. I tried to be the son you wanted me to be. But the first time I chose something for myself, the first time I followed my heart, you cut me off." My mother opened her mouth to speak, but I was not finished. "Sarah was the best person I have ever known. She was kind. She was brave. She worked harder than anyone in this family ever has. She taught me what real love looks like. And Lily is not a mistake. Lily is a miracle. She is the reason I get up every morning. She is everything good that Sarah left behind." I looked at Derek, then back at my mother. "From this moment on, I am not your son. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not try to find us. You had a chance to be part of Lily's life, and you chose to call her a mistake. That is a choice you will have to live with." I picked up Lily and walked past them. Derek grabbed my arm. "You cannot just leave. Think about Grandpa. Think about what you are doing to this family." I pulled my arm free. "Grandpa is the only decent person in this house. I will contact him separately. But the rest of you, I am done." I walked out the front door, put Lily in her car seat, and drove away. I did not look back. For the next 5 days, I turned off my phone. I focused entirely on Lily. I took her to the park. We got ice cream. We watched movies and built pillow forts in the living room. My neighbor Nora, a kind woman who had become like a second grandmother to Lily, came over with casseroles and kept us company. Lily still had nightmares. She would wake up crying, asking if she was a mistake, every time I held her and told her the truth. "You are not a mistake. You are my greatest gift. Mommy loved you. I love you. That is all that matters." On the 5th day, I turned my phone back on to check my work email. The notifications nearly crashed the phone. 89 missed calls, 47 text messages, all from my parents and Derek. The messages started angry. "How dare you walk out? You embarrass this family. Call us immediately." Then they became worried. "Where are you? Is Lily okay? Please respond." The final message was from Derek. It said, "Grandpa had a stroke the night of the party. He is in the hospital. He keeps asking for you and Lily. Please answer us. Please. I called the hospital and confirmed it was true. Grandpa William had collapsed shortly after we left. When he woke up, the only thing he asked for was to see me and his great-granddaughter. I knew I had to go, but I was not going back as the prodigal son begging for forgiveness. I was going back on my terms. I called my father. He answered on the first ring. Randall, thank God. Please, your grandfather needs you. I will come, I said, but I have conditions. Anything. Name them. First, Mom and Derek will apologize to Lily, to her face, in front of me. Second, no one will ever say another negative word about Sarah or my daughter again. Third, after I see Grandpa, Lily, and I leave, our relationship with this family is over. Those are my terms. My father was silent for a long moment. Then he said, fine, we agree. The next morning, Lily and I drove to the hospital. My mother and Derek were waiting in the hallway outside Grandpa William's room. When they saw us, they both looked at the floor. My mother spoke first. Her voice was stiff, but the words came out. Lily, I am sorry for what I said. It was wrong. You are not a mistake. Derek mumbled something similar without meeting Lily's eyes. Lily did not respond. She just held my hand tighter. I nodded once, then walked past them into Grandpa William's room. He was lying in the hospital bed, looking smaller and weaker than I had ever seen him. But when he saw Lily, his face broke into a smile. Little sunshine, he whispered. You came. Lily climbed onto the bed and hugged him gently. Great-grandpa, are you okay? I am better now that you are here. He looked at me over her head. You did the right thing, Randall. Never apologize for protecting her. I sat beside his bed and held his hand. I should have protected you too. I should have stayed. He shook his head. No. You did exactly what you needed to do. Sarah would be proud of you. I am proud of you. He squeezed my hand weakly. Promise me something. Raise that little girl to be kind, to be brave, not successful the way this family measures success, just good. Good is enough. I promise. Lily sang him a lullaby, a song Sarah used to sing to her before bed. Grandpa William closed his eyes and smiled, his breathing slowly, evening out as he fell asleep. We stayed for an hour. Then we said goodbye. 2 weeks later, Grandpa William passed away peacefully in his sleep. The hospital called to tell me he went with a smile on his face. The nurse said the last thing he talked about was his little sunshine. It has been 2 years since that day at the birthday party. Lily is 8 now. She goes to a great school. She has friends who love her. She laughs more than she cries. The nightmares have mostly stopped. I am still single. I am not looking for anyone. Lily and I have built a life together, just the two of us. And it is enough. It is more than enough. My neighbor Nora has become family. Lily calls her Grandma Nora now, and Nora spoils her with cookies and bedtime stories. My co-workers, the parents from Lily's school, the friends who showed up when Sarah was sick and stayed after she was gone. These are our people now. This is our family. My parents still send messages sometimes, birthday cards that arrive empty of meaning, texts asking how we are doing. I do not respond. Maybe one day I will find space in my heart to forgive them. But forgiveness does not mean opening the door for them to hurt Lily again. Some doors once closed need to stay that way. I do not carry anger anymore. Anger is too heavy, and I have a little girl to raise. What I carry instead is clarity. I know who my family is. I know what matters. I know that protecting the people you love is not selfish. It is the most important thing you can do. My mother called Lily a mistake. But every morning when Lily wakes up and smiles at me, every time she laughs at a silly joke, every time she hugs me and says, "I love you, Daddy," I know the truth. She is not a mistake. She is the best decision I ever made. And nothing anyone says can change that. If you are watching this and you have ever had to protect someone you love from the people who were supposed to love you both, I want you to know something. You are not wrong. You are not crazy. You are not selfish. You are brave. And sometimes being brave means walking away from everything you thought you knew. I have a question for you. Have you ever had to choose between your family and the people you love? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and I know there are others out there who need to hear that they are not alone. If this story touched you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories. Subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more real stories about family betrayal and finding your way back to yourself. And share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for being here with me. I hope wherever you are surrounded by people who love you for exactly who you are, because that is what you deserve. That is what we all deserve. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.